Let me be your nerd now. I'm saying baby, 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 baby. What the hell was that?
Welcome to the Grizzled Geek. We are your daddy's podcast. We're here with episode 56. Is it 56?
Yep.
Wow. Man. Time flies when you're talking about nerd stuff. Unless it's 2020 and then it just crawls like everything else. How are you guys doing?
Bueno.
For those
Doing
listening,
all right.
I'm Mike, by the way.
Oh, I'm Kirsten.
I'm Doug.
There you go.
Although our names are all on the screen, so.
See? So that's why you should be watching us on
figure.
YouTube for all of those. But I do want to take a moment to say thank you to all our new listeners out there on Deezer especially. You Deezer podcasters are really showing the love out there. Really appreciate it. We even got a review.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but was it good, though?
It was better than the one our buddies over at the Absolute Geek Podcast got. Did you see that one?
No.
Oh, it's hilarious. You should check it out on Facebook. They posted it. It's one of those so bad it's amazing.
Yeah, that's nice.
I'd love to have a review like that just so I could post it. Man, yeah, but thank you guys for listening to us. We really appreciate it. According to our metrics, there are a lot more of you listening to us and downloading now, so that tells me there are a lot of bored people out there.
And normally we only entertain ourselves.
That's right. Normally we only entertain ourselves, so if we can entertain you, awesome. We appreciate it. Corbin's in the chat. Thank you, Corbin. Yes. We kicking it off. Corbin says he sent you a Facebook request, Doug. Doug's got to get online. He's a technology. He's kind of an old fogey, you know. As the senior statesman of the podcast, newfangled technology.
Is it the CB Barbarian?
Yep.
No.
Comic book.
All right, I'll accept it. I don't do a lot on Facebook.
See, look, Corbin's excited about the DC Universe Infinity.
Yeah.
Definitely going to talk about that. It was a thing I was worried about going away when, DC Universe went away, but it's sticking around. The best part of DC Universe.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. What have you been doing this week? Anything exciting?
No.
No?
Finding out that my dog doesn't actually have diabetes.
Well, that's
What?
good news.
We don't know what he has, although he's going blind and has other issues, but it wasn't the obvious. So who knows where we're going from here? But yeah, so that kind of filled in a couple of my days here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
we'll see how that
your
goes.
dog. Yeah, I'm like, maybe he's just old. Is it old?
13.
Yeah.
So relatively, although he's a little dog, so they usually live a little longer.
Right.
But anyways, yeah. Otherwise, no, it's been kind of a quiet week. I didn't do a whole lot. Haven't watched any new shows. Have you checked out that Earth to Ned, though? I've been watching that the last few weeks. I don't know if I brought it up before.
I have not.
It's a Disney Plus show that's it's kind of in the vein of the old Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Okay.
It's
Nice.
a Jim Henson production kind of thing. He's this alien he's an alien with daddy issues who came to conquer Earth, but then fell in love with celebrities. So now he has a talk show.
Nice.
So he beams people up to his ship and interviews them.
Okay.
It's
a lot like
funny.
Space Ghost.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. I definitely recommend checking it out for those who haven't.
The only thing I've been watching is The Boys.
Have you been watching the second season or the first one?
That second season. I'm watching it as they come out because that's the way we have to, because they decided not to get with the times and drop them all at once so we can binge, which is probably a good thing, I guess, for me, because once I started watching Cobra Kai, I binged it in a weekend and realized, wow, that's 20 hours I just spent.
Well, and it makes business sense for them because they want to keep you through the whole pandemic. So
Yeah. Oh, I understand. I understand the logic behind it. I just don't like it still. So how does it affect me? What about you, Kirsten? Anything major?
Not really. I've honestly haven't even had time for video games. I've pretty much just been watching streamers play. Oh, wait, I played Among Us. That's
Oh,
the
nice.
new popular game that all the kids are playing.
Nice. Does that make you cool, hip, or what do they call the kids nowadays? I don't know.
I think that makes me hip. I'm cool now.
You're cool? Nice.
Uh-huh. But only now. I wasn't cool before.
I'll tell you what, I've been playing too, but not video games. I've been playing with some new toys. Huh? Check out these.
Oh.
is that new, or did you
That's
dig out
brand
your
new.
old He-Man?
No, this is brand new. They're retro. They're even in the same old packages. It's got the same gear. It's just more articulation.
Did
got
you
He-Man and
lose all
Skeletor.
your old ones, or you're just like, nah, I just need to get the new ones
I
too?
need new ones. Those old ones are old, Doug. It says it right there in the name. These are new, and new is right in the name of those, so that's kind of trumps the old ones.
I see.
Plus, bendy arms. You know, he can actually flex. So I had to get it, and it's in the old packaging. It comes with a comic book, like the little comic books, like the old ones did. It's got all the accessories. I got He-Man, and of course, had to get Skeletor as well.
Oh, very
Yep.
nice.
Yep. And the swords go together. They form the two halves of the power sword, just like the old ones. There's only like
Nice.
4. Well, actually, it's they only had He-Man and Skeletor where I got them otherwise, which is a good thing because I would have blown all kinds of money on a lot of them. But they have Man-at-Arms, Tila, and then on Skeletor's side they got Evil Lyn and Beastman. So they only have 6 of them out. But I'll just stick with these unless, of course, Ram Man comes out, and then I'm going to have to own a Ram Man. So it's the way it is. That's right. And I open them. Absolutely. They're going on the shelf. But I'm like, should I put these? I bought them initially. I'm like, look at this, man. Tax write-off, set decorations. But I don't think it counts if you open and play with them. So, but I had to. It was important. Nice. So I can get their own little thing going on in the chat over here. Yes, playing one in the bathtub like Francis from Pee-wee's Big Adventures. Absolutely. It's like Spaceballs where they walk in and he's playing with his dolls. It's like my kids walked in on me playing with He-Man and Skeletor. They're like, "Are you playing with toys?" And I'm like, "Yes." It's like, you guys don't do it anymore, so someone has to in this house. So it's going to be me. I'm going to do it. Take one for the team. Play with my dolls. Action figures, actually. All right, guys. Want to jump into the Mandalorian news?
Sure.
Yep.
Go for it.
We don't have any, catchy segues in this show. We're just going to jump right into it. We're going to say Mandalorian Season 2 premieres October 30th, and this week we have a trailer, the new trailer for it, which we've been waiting for forever, and finally we got it. So I did a review of it. There's a review video out on our YouTube channel, and it's just me because, Doug was
Nobody
Doug
else
was
Because
wants
busy.
he jumped the gun.
Yeah. That's right. Exactly. A principled man. Exactly.
Man of principle, yeah.
So you guys have obviously seen it, right? Because
Oh yeah.
no way we could have gone without you seeing it. So
No.
I gave my review of it, or I did a reaction. I watched it for the first time on camera because that's what I do. I'm a YouTuber. Doug, what do you think of it? You excited?
It looks really cool.
Even without Ahsoka, even without Boba Fett, even without all the extra characters, Clone Wars characters we're expecting.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was. Although it's still nice to see that the old characters are going to be there. So, and little Sasha Banks reveal there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sasha Banks, mysterious character.
Yeah.
The rumor was she was playing Sabine, but I don't think she is. I don't know. I didn't get that Maybe.
It's kind of hard to tell from that, but I mean, yeah, most people are convinced she's going to be Sabine.
Yeah.
The shot she's in, it was very much, she seemed like an Inquisitor.
Yeah.
But so I'm like, is she going to be an Inquisitor from Rebels, or is she going to be Sabine? So.
Oh, Corbin, you're doubling down on your bad opinions. What are you doing here? Oh, for the Sasha Bank bit. Okay, that's fine. That's not, you're talking about the overall. I was in their chat last week, and he was going on about his opinions on movies that had to spit water out a few times. I was like, what? Kirsten, what about you? What do you think of the trailer? Anything stand out?
I've only watched it once, and I feel like I went into it not prepared for it at all. I feel like so much happened in the span of 2 minutes that I couldn't even consume what was happening. All I could think was yes, 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 yes.
Yeah.
So
there was a lot packed into those images.
Yeah, for sure.
A ton.
It got me really excited. I'll probably have to watch it a few more times to actually catch what is actually going on in it.
Yeah. I heard someone say they spotted Boba Fett's jetpack on a scene, and I checked it out, and I'm like, there's no way you could tell that. And that it's like literally on a speeder bike as it whizzes past, and I'm like, really? I mean, that's stretching, I think, but maybe. Who knows? Yeah. Yes, in the chat we are going to discuss that, and where that came from, and how full of shit it is. But we'll get into that. But first, I want to say The Mandalorian, obviously, first season did extremely well, right? Everyone's super excited about this. This is Disney's flagship show. It's actually won 5 awards at the Creative Arts Emmy Awards this week. So it's already won 5 Emmys, including for Outstanding Visual Effects. That's the big effects Emmy.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
But it's also up for 15 more at the regular Emmys this weekend. So it's already won 5, and it's up for 15 more. That's a lot. Of course, the technical ones you assume, because it's broke new ground with its special effects.
Yeah.
And the way it was filmed and the whole bit. So I understand that. What do you think its chances are of these other 15 Emmys? Because pretty much it's nominated for every category.
Well, I unfortunately haven't watched the other one, so I don't know. It's up against Ozarks and
which is good, but
forget the other show that it's up for a lot of the awards that are it seems like Ozarks, The Mandalorian, and one other show that escapes me right now were up for all the awards. And then there was a couple of others sprinkled in here and there as kind of outliers for them, but those are its main competition. But I don't know. I think it's got a pretty good chance of winning at least 5 more, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although maybe, man, I wish because I did that whole breakdown.
Yeah.
A ton of the awards that it's nominated are it being nominated multiple times for the same award, I think. It's nominated for best episode 4 or 5 times, 4 different episodes.
Yeah, 4 different episodes.
Wow.
There's only 8 in the series. Half of them are nominated for best episode.
Yeah, so it obviously can't win all of those, because it's up against itself. So I don't remember how many were unique nominations, but anyways, it's going to get more. I don't know how many, but it'll get more.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's address the rumor here. They brought it up in a chat. So there was initial reports that Pedro Pascal had walked off the set halfway through filming season 2 over differences because he wanted to have more scenes without his helmet on, and they were sticking to their guns, saying no, you got to keep or he wanted the helmet off, whatever, and he wanted to keep it on. So this went wild, right? And then as each place reported it, it got wilder and wilder to the point where people started reporting that he walked off the set halfway through filming, and they had to refigure out how they're going to finish the season off, and that the second half is going to focus on Clone Wars characters because they didn't have Pedro Pascal to finish filming, which So I'm like, wow, that is crazy news. Since how they were done filming before the COVID shutdown, they kept that secret all this time. That
Yeah.
he's not in half the season. So I was like, that's a little hard to swallow. So I started tracking this down. So the initial report came from Grace Randolph, who I love Grace Randolph, but she's been hit or miss on some of her insider news, right? But if you look at her report, she reported that there was a fight, right? There was tension on set, and she reported the clash over the helmet thing, right?
Mhm.
But she didn't say anything about him not being in the second half, right? And in fact, she went on to say, like, she hopes cooler heads prevail. In fact, they might have already, right? This might have already been settled. So she just reported the fight and the disagreement, right? And that he did walk off on set on one of the episodes halfway through, but not that he didn't come back, kind of thing. And then I started tracking down. I tried to look through times, like when was the first time it was reported that he was not going to be back, right? And the first person that reported this was our old friend. We Got This Covered. They're the ones who took the story, and it's the first time, timestamp wise, that I saw it reported that he was not going to be in the second half of the season, and they had to scramble to fix it, right? And we all know We Got This Covered.
Doesn't
much.
really.
Doesn't really. They really don't have it covered. So, and then once they reported it, it started getting popping up everywhere. So that was the story, right? So all these other places reported it. But those are the earliest ones I could find. I may be wrong, right? I'm not, journalist. I didn't track down all this information, but I mean, just basically when things were reported, when they hit the net, that's the timeline. Grace Randolph reported the fight. We Got This Covered reported the walked off set is not coming back, or that that he's not coming back part, and then it just ran. The story ran from there. So, and then finally the next day, some people started breaking the stuff down. We're like, well, this sounds like it's blown out of proportion. Like it's not. I'm sure the fight happened. I'm sure there was a disagreement, right? He may even have walked off the set on one of the episodes, but I really doubt they filmed half of season 2. Because they had just finished production when everything shut down, right?
Right.
And there was never, they were never saying that they're going to delay this for any reason, right? Because they weren't back in production for any of this stuff till recently, right? So for this to happen back then, right? And he's still doing press and everything after the first season hit, right? And they're still doing the roundtables for that Galleria show for Disney Plus. So he's been filmed doing stuff since then, since the first season wrapped up. I mean, the second season wrapped up filming, because they were even in that Galleria show. They were talking about stuff coming up in the second season, right? They didn't reveal anything, but they were talking about it. So, it's already been filmed. I find it really hard to believe that he's done, because if they parted ways, that would have been hard to hide.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
and timeline.
Regardless of what happens, he is not in every scene. It's often a stunt double wearing the suit for him, and he's doing a voiceover. So if all of this were true, all you have to do is find somebody who sounds close to him in a helmet. He's already not doing all of the stuff that you see him doing in the scenes. So so he doesn't really have. I mean, I can understand somebody his star's on the rise. That maybe he's like, hey, I want people to see me, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe like I said, I'm pretty sure. Like I said, the fight happened and everything else, but I really don't think he walked off this. Didn't come back. If he did walk off. So, so I wouldn't worry about it, guys, until we hear something, until the season comes out. Disney is very good at, prepping for negative press, especially if they have a year almost to, to prep for it. That first trailer would have been, oh, look, Ahsoka Tano, or, look at all these characters, the way we're pivoting towards this. But no, it's all Pedro Pascal, it's all the Mandalorian. So, yeah, I think he's fine, guys. But
all right, cool.
All right,
Let's move on to some Marvel stuff here.
All right.
So here's some Marvel project updates.
Yep.
We got 2. One is She-Hulk starts shooting early next year. We've got Kat Coiro. Is that the Always Sunny? Who's from Always Sunny in Philadelphia? Is going to be the executive producer and director of several episodes.
Excuse me, Doug. It's Philadelphia. If you,
If I follow your great typing, yeah, yeah, you always have to guess. Is this really what you meant?
I figured you could figure that one out.
Yeah.
Always Sunny and what?
Tatiana Maslany from Orphan Black is cast as Jennifer Walters. Not familiar with her, but
yeah.
cool.
And remember all the time that the big rumor was Alison Brie, right? Because they were talking, they wanted Alison Brie type, and they kept bugging her about it. But nope, Tatiana Maslany got it. So.
Okay.
She's only
She's awfully
5'4".
Yeah,
she's 5'4".
Awfully short for the role, but hey.
So it's totally going to be CGI.
Yeah.
I hope they go with. I hope they go with like more of a classic look for She-Hulk than what they have currently in the comics. Because basically, currently in the comics, they got like a Hulk that's female, like huge.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because you want to see her as a She-Hulk in like business skirt is
as a lawyer
in court. You know that was the classic image from the John Byrne run was She-Hulk as a lawyer in court.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, anyways, we also got some Falcon and the Winter Soldier news. It's resumed production. It wasn't part of a Disney promo for the rest of the year, Disney Plus promo, I should say, but WandaVision was. New set reports see Aaron Kellyman's character from Solo.
Yeah,
the movie Solo. I mean,
yep, Solo. She was a leader of that group. They helped at the end.
Yeah. Okay. Her character's entrance. People.
Man, someone typed this while they were working. Clearly.
Anyways, the way she enters the scene suggests she might be Songbird.
Yeah. Basically, they filmed a scene. They had a report of her filming a scene on set where she actually looks like she's controlling, zombifying some people, right? Which is kind of like Songbird's ability. Because she knows she's in it. We don't know who she's playing. The scene she's in, she's also with the next person you want to mention who was spotted.
George St. Pierre, spotted on set. His role as Batroc the Leaper.
Batroc the Leaper from Winter Soldier.
Yeah, from getting his butt kicked by Captain America. So we got Songbird, Batroc, and Baron Zemo, who are all part of the Thunderbolts.
Yes. Thunderbolts, man. Batroc wasn't part of the original, but yeah. Thunderbolts team, for those of you who are not in the know, were a group of bad guys led by Baron Zemo, who posed as a good guy superhero group, right? And then
decided they liked it.
They ended up becoming a superhero group. So it was kind of like the redemption arc for,
Yeah. So Songbird was the villain Screaming Mimi. So I'm wondering if she's going to be Songbird or Screaming Mimi in this.
Right.
It'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, the vocal control, like manipulation, is more like Songbird than Screaming Mimi. Screaming Mimi is more like basically like Black Canary from DC. It's power wise anyway, but
yeah. So who knows? But that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, if they do show the Thunderbolts,
that would be cool to move towards a Thunderbolt show in the future. Because I think Thunderbolts would work better as a show than as a movie. Because everybody's like, who the heck are these guys? I mean, kind of like Guardians, but I don't know, with less redeeming qualities.
Less redeeming qualities. Yeah. I don't know, man. I love the Thunderbolts. I like the whole concept of them. I like, I don't know. I like those characters. So, I don't know.
Well, that's our Marvel update for the time being.
Okay. Tell you what. I'll take this next one, and then Kirsten, you want to do the PS5 stuff? Okay.
Sounds good.
We'll do that. Making
Let's do
changes on the
that.
fly. We're always prepared here at the Grizzled Geek. All right, so remember when they canceled the the big DC Comics update at DC Fandom? After
Shockingly, no one saw it coming.
No one saw it coming. Yeah. So, in a move that surprised no one, Jim Lee has confirmed that 5G is canceled. So, for those of you who don't know, 5G was basically a move that they were calling, hailing the death of DC Comics as we know it, right? Everyone was up in arms about this. They planned to do a massive reboot this year. They planned on aging up the current heroes and starting issues over at number 1 with new heroes taking those roles. Some of the rumors were like crazy. Like they're taking like diversification to like extreme levels. Where like Wonder Woman was going to be a man now, or I guess she was going to be a trans woman. So, that's what it was. So I mean, there was like one of those things where people were like, "What? What is going on here? Who are these characters?" And some of these characters are actually in comics now. Like Lucius Fox's son was going to be Batman, right? He's already a character in the comics. He's kind of cool. So, but basically all the comics, all the heroes that we know, were just going to be aged up and aged out of their current role, and then have new people in. So apparently people were up in arms about this, and news broke early last spring, and this, even inside DC Studios, people were very upset about it. In fact, Dan Didio basically was fired over this whole debacle that came out. And this was supposed to hit New Comic Book Day of this year, which was, May? Is that May?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. The shocking thing is that this was, they had a year's worth of work in on this project, right? I mean, they had issues done, they had art, they had stories, they had things planned out. It was going to kick off at New Comic Book Day, then it was going to have like a light reveal over the summer, and then in the fall they're going to kick off with the new number 1s. So fast forward to now, and then Jim Lee had this to say about it. This is Jim Lee quoted here. Not going to happen. He explains, there won't be a project called 5G or a big reboot or whatever. We really want to focus on individual titles and organically build up individual characters over the course of next year. Now, I love Jim Lee. Don't get me wrong. I've loved him from ever since, back his old art days, back in Image comic days. But this is straight up company response. He's a company man now. Which I don't blame him.
Yeah.
Gonna be a company man, DC's where to go. But what do you think of this, Doug?
Well, I really hope this is accurate, because their biggest problem over the last, I don't know how many years now, has been a kind of a death of the individual characters and the individual comics and big event things going on. And, everything was driven by, Batman, Superman, to a lesser extent, Wonder Woman, even the Green Lanterns, I guess, to a degree, but big event type things that kind of tied everybody together and
made you buy a ton of issues.
Yeah, and there was, less of a focus on individual character development and their own self-contained stories. So one would hope this is a signal that they're realizing that maybe they lost their way that way, and they need to go back to what made people like particular characters, rather than trying to use a marketing gimmick to force you to buy tons.
Yeah.
Which has the opposite effect. It'd be, well, if I can't do them all, I'm just going to stop altogether.
Yeah.
I can't afford to get 20, so I'm getting none. Instead of if people really like Batman, they'll spend the money for 5 different Batman titles. If they really like Green Lantern, they'll buy the 3 different Green Lantern titles or whatever it is. But when you make them, they all cross over, so you need to buy these 40 different comics.
Yeah.
Never mind, I'm out.
Yeah.
Or when you charge $5 an issue, which also would tend to make people go, "Nah, I'm done."
Yeah, exactly. Throwing down hundreds of
Well, it
dollars on
makes you
comics.
less likely to pick up a bunch of them, right? Like, I
Yeah.
don't mind paying like $6 for an individual comic, so long as it's a character that I like. But I'm not going to pick up 12 different $6 comics to follow a
Mhm.
story that I really have interest in,
Yeah.
Absolutely. What was the first, Doug? What was the first big crossover that you had to collect?
The what was it called? It was all of the Marvel annuals crossing over with each other with the High Evolutionary.
Yeah, Evolutionary War. Yeah,
that was it.
That was my first. That was my first one too.
That was the first big. You needed to buy multiple issues, but it was all just the
annuals. Yeah,
it was all contained one issue for every title. So it wasn't like the next 4 issues of these 10 titles are all part of this big story.
Yeah, I guess technically Secret Wars was kind of like that, but
except for Secret Wars was
it
was
contained
its own
story,
series.
but it also bled out into the other comics too. So there was a Spider-Man tie-in to Secret Wars for his story.
Like this is what's
Secret Wars
happening
2.
while he's gone.
Yeah,
Secret Wars 2.
Secret Wars 2 was like that.
Very much like that. Yeah, they were all. There was not. Was there even a central comic?
I think there was, and then I don't know. It got confused. It was the first one I lost track of. I don't know what to collect.
Yeah,
that's where the annuals were easy. They did collect all the annuals and you got them. Got the story, but yeah.
And they did that for a long time. That was kind of Marvel's thing. Was every year from that point on, all of the annuals had something to do with each other.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it was a big deal that one character would appear in another character's comic. You're like, wow, the Spider-Man's going to be in the Fantastic Four this month. Wow, that's awesome. That happened once every 2 or 3 years or something. So
yeah,
but now it's
Corbin even says Secret Wars was more contained. He was. Yeah. So yeah, it's getting crazy.
I kind of hope that they don't fall away from modernizing the heroes, though. I think that that's the right idea, especially considering what this new generation has on their mind, like social changes and things like that. I hope that they do bring in at least a few of those characters that they had brought up, because I feel like that the pull is not just keeping the Grizzled Geeks; it's pulling in the new generation, what interests them and what societal issues are.
That's why you make. That's why you can make great new characters for them, right? You bring in the younger characters, right? And
I wouldn't necessarily agree. I just finished reading Raven and Beast Boy. They have a new comic it's kind of like a reboot, but it's taking character concepts that have established characters in the past, but now they have a more modernized lifestyle and friends, and the way that they're going about their stories not similar to what they did in the past. And I like it. I like that it's showing a more current view of societal issues that we are, and I wouldn't mind seeing them in as a trans woman or man, or in those kinds of roles. But that's just my 2 cents.
Right. So you have no problem if they change existing characters?
No, not at all.
Because they update the story. They bring in more current. Obviously Spider-Man's not back in the 60s.
How many Robins are there? And it's all they need to do is just say, this isn't the Batman, this is the next Batman.
Fair enough. I don't know. But hey, I like some of the Robin stories, right?
Mm-hmm.
But eventually I'll get a new Robin every once in a while, spin him off into his own stories. But I don't know. I kind of maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just old. I like Bruce Wayne as Batman, although I liked Terry McGinnis as Batman in Batman Beyond, right? Mm-hmm. He was awesome. But yeah, it moved the story along kind of like what they were talking about doing, because they had older Bruce Wayne and then a young new character.
Yeah.
But
there's we could geek out on specific characters. There's the big problem with Batman specifically is Batman is Batman, Bruce Wayne is his secret identity. Bruce Wayne is just a mask that Batman wears. So having somebody else, that's why every time you've put somebody else in the Bat costume, it's flopped. Because that's like saying, like, we got Kirsten to be Doug this week. That's not a secret identity you can take on. You're becoming somebody, that else. Anyways, it's hard to say. It's hard to explain with Batman, but he's, other people, like, it was easy to say Thor could be, could be a woman. Somebody else could wield the hammer.
Right.
Or, Spider-Man could be now Spider-Gwen or Spider whatever, because that's the mask that person wears. But,
right.
And even like the Beast Boy and Raven, it's been long enough that nobody, that they've not been continually like built up. They've got cartoon here, cartoon there. Their comic book the Teen Titans comic book is way in the past. So really we're reinventing them all the time. And that works really well. And those young characters can easily be like, oh, you just update them to what young people are now and what young people's issues are now. And they can do that with like the Young Avengers, even Young Justice, things like that. They can rebuild those teams fairly easily.
Right.
So, anyways,
I don't know. I was like reading
the counter, I guess.
Corbin's comments in the.
What's that?
But yeah, I agree that you can update the characters, obviously, to reflect the times that they're in, right? So like Spider-Man's been updated several times, right? When he came out in the 60s, he was dealing with those problems from then. Then in the 80s, those problems, 90s we're going to kind of forget about. But, moving on from there, they've always updated the characters. But I kind of agree with Doug with Batman. It goes like Bruce Wayne is that, is like I said, is the alter ego of Batman. Batman is that character. So, I mean, it's hard to bring in somebody new because that character is his, that mentally damaged person, right?
Right.
They can't recreate that story. And like they did with Peter Parker. Like, Peter Parker is Peter Parker, right? He's going to be him going forward. But Miles Morales is a cool Spider-Man, right? He's a cool character. But, they kind of like split that role.
Who's Miguel O'Hara?
I don't know who Miguel O'Hara is. That's, old fogey. I don't know. I know
Yeah.
Miles Morales. I like Miles Morales.
Yeah.
Don't know about Miguel O'Hara. I don't care.
And I like the idea of, expanding the roster.
Yeah.
Like, they do a good job with the Bat family with just add more characters to the Bat family. You can do a lot with that, and that just makes all of those relationships more complicated and explore a bunch more issues with them. So, but anyways.
Yeah. Sorry. I like when those kind of things happen organically, not we're just going to cancel what's going on currently and then move on to something new.
Yeah, I don't think that I would necessarily agree with just cut off everything, start something new. But it wouldn't be too difficult to say, oh, well, you're a protege and, build you into the role or something like that. I could easily see that in a few roles. So I don't know. I'm not opposed to updating who these people are. But
Although, yeah. Miguel is Spider-Man 2099. Okay.
Oh.
Come on, geeks.
I know.
Yeah.
Hey, I got his first issue from the 90s.
Yeah, I was going to say, those 2099 comics were pretty bad.
I own that first issue because I bought all the 2099 comics when they first came out in the 90s and
then realized how bad they were and said, nah, I'm done.
Yep, done with this. Although, I hear they brought that character back and he's better, but, yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, obviously updating needs to happen, and I have no problem with some updating, but some characters are these characters, right? And then swapping who they are doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And I'll go on one last tangent here, and unpopular opinion. Like Thor, for instance. Doug brought up Thor, right? Now, I love the storyline, right, with, female Thor, right?
Mm.
But Thor's like, I mean, they made Thor a title, right? And that's who that guy is. That's Thor. And there's been plenty of other people who have had hammers and had powers, right? They've come up.
Or had that hammer.
Yeah, or had that hammer, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
But
and we're
they
called
didn't-
different things.
They're called different things, right? And like, if there was like a separate title, you know,
Thunderstrike. Or
yeah, with
Vader
Jane
Hill,
is
or-
Thor going on after that. The story was great. Don't get me wrong. The story was great, and it was limited, which was fine. So I didn't really have a little problem with it. But if they would have said, all right, you know, Thor's gone now, and this is who Thor is going forward, you know, instead of just having her have her own thing, shiny
feel
without
like-
Thor's title.
I feel like the whole point though is to use characters that we know and like use them to fight these, you know, political issues that we're coming across. Like that's the whole point, is to use something that exists for, you know, I don't know how to like explore these divisions that we have as society right now. If you build up a new character, you've got to, you know, fight to establish a history with them and who they are and make people want to like them and everything like that. Like, I'm not saying that they shouldn't do that, but if they were to do that with every new idea that they want to, it's unlikely that they would get the, I don't know, it's like taking advantage of existing characters to focus on these issues that society is seeing right now.
Absolutely, and I agree that there are some places that make sense, right? And like with Jane wasn't a new character; she was like an established character, right, in that universe. And then she became, you know, Thor, and we cared because we knew who she was, right? We cared. The storyline was very, you know, it was also a very personal storyline too. So it was kind of like, you know, that we cared about. Sometimes it's jarring if they bring in, like, I'm not saying we bring in totally new characters and like, oh, boom, all of a sudden this is this. But like Doug said, if they build up organically, you know.
Yeah.
And sometimes if it's time for other characters to retire and it makes sense, you know, and you move on.
For sure.
But, you know, we'll see. You're going to see more of that in the MCU than you will in the comics. Because in the comics, the characters are eternal. As where now, you know, we don't have Captain America, we don't have Iron Man.
People age out of the role.
People age out of the role.
Yeah.
And they're going to organically change to the next iteration of that character, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, so you're going to get that in the movies and in the TV shows and stuff like that, which is good.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I agree with Corbin. He says these characters can be vehicles to explore current times and situations through different lenses,
Yes.
which I think is the whole point of it.
Yep, absolutely. All right, Kirsten. We've spiraled off into a tangent here. Why don't you bring us back on track here with the...
Yeah, I'll bring us into the future. We're speaking about old stuff. So PS5 had its big reveal. I believe it was 2 days ago. It's going to be coming out November 12th. There's going to be a digital version that's going to be at $3.99, while there's going to be a disc version that's going to be $4.99, which is seemingly to compete with Xbox's release of the Xbox Series X, which is also going to be $4.99. Pre-orders started yesterday, and a lot of sites were down. A lot of people had issues trying to get their order in and spent pretty much the entire day trying to get one. Both versions are going to have 825 gigabytes of solid state storage. You would think that the digital may have more to it because it's digital, but nope.
Nope.
Which is interesting to me because the Xbox Series X is going to have 1 terabyte solid state. So I find it interesting that they're going to be under a terabyte, or at least advertising lower than a terabyte. Some of the titles that we got for launch day are going to be Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, and Demon Souls. And the sad reality is that with a cheaper console, we're getting more expensive games. So the starting prices for these games are going to be $69.99. So you're paying $70 for the title.
Eek.
Yeah. So they did announce a few other games that are going to be coming eventually, just not on launch day. And we got God of War. They teased a new game for that. Five Nights at Freddy's. They're doing a before everything sort of deal. Devil May Cry 5 is getting a Ultimate Edition, which is going to follow Virgil. And then the super exciting one that I can't wait for is going to be Final Fantasy 16. It looks like it's going to go back to the more older age medieval kind of storyline. So I'm really excited to see them going back to their roots.
Yeah.
I think the big question is anyone going to get it? I know a lot of people that are going to get it, but I don't feel like it's worth it. Are you guys? Have you? I mean, you guys hadn't even talked about it or said that you knew about it. So
I'm a PC gamer.
Same.
I don't get
pretty
consoles.
much me too.
The only console I've ever owned was because it was the best way to get a Blu-ray player.
That's
the
what
time.
we did.
Yeah.
Other than that, I've never cared about consoles since the Atari.
Yeah.
I've had all
Which
the
I didn't know.
Nintendo. I've had all the Nintendos up through Wii,
hmm
and I've had, but mainly for like party games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, because the party game console.
Yeah.
And I mean, I had an Xbox, but it was pretty much James's, right? And we have a PlayStation in the house
Yeah.
now, but I'm not.
I have a PlayStation 2 in my garage.
Nice. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I can't see paying $500 for a system and then $70 a game
Yeah.
when I could pay, $60 for the game and play it on my PC.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the thing. A lot of those, so the ones that I had talked about, like these games, are going to have, be limitedly available to only PS5 for, an extended amount of time. And I think the last time they did that, at least with Final Fantasy, it was a year before they released it for PC. But
yeah.
I can wait a year for a title that I really want, right?
Yeah,
it's not
exactly.
that big of a deal.
I'm all, I'm not so into it that I have to have it. For God's sake, I don't have Breath of the Wild because I don't have a Switch yet.
Yeah.
Now, if I was going to buy something, it would be a Switch.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's portable, right? But I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I get the appeal. But if you have a good PC, you know what I mean? We're going to buy something with that kind of computing power to not do other stuff that your PC can do. You know what I mean? I'm just kind of like,
Yeah.
I was talking with friends too. I feel like the way of future for console is going to be able to have a console that's mobile. If I could have my computer's power but bring it around other places, I would invest in a console for sure. Ready to do that. And that's why I invested in the Switch, although the Switch has its downsides. I feel like there's a lot of room for upgrades in that, and that's where they should be putting their focus towards. So I wonder how much longer they're going to be forcing this console concept.
Yeah, I don't know. Big money though.
Yeah.
Big money. All right, guys. We got. What do we got? 10 minutes left.
Yep, something like that.
All right. So. Cool deal. Let's jump into it, guys. Boom. Nerd Nugget time, folks. Doug's favorite part of the show, where we break down all the smaller stories for you, our little geek bites, nerd nuggets, with our own special dipping sauce. I'm going to kick it off with, it looks like the inevitable is going to happen, something we all knew was going to happen. Black Widow looks to be delayed, and Disney's also going to give Soul, their new Pixar animated series, or animated movie, the Mulan Disney Plus treatment. Where you got to buy it on Disney Plus. Seeing how Mulan, by every measure, has outperformed Tenet, money wise, and even with a what they call a dismal opening in China, they still more than doubled the opening for Tenet domestically. So, just saying. I think it's a good move for him. I think Soul will do even better than Mulan did.
Probably.
It's a Pixar movie. I mean,
yeah, People love their Pixar movies.
Yeah. And no shock. No word when it's going to be delayed, too, but there's no shock. Black Widow's going to be delayed when Tenet bombed so badly in the box office.
Yeah.
All right. All right, Doug.
All right. Spider-Woman showrunner Olivia Wilde caused massive speculation that the project will be in the MCU when she said in an interview she was worried about upsetting Kevin Feige. Was this a slip? We know that Silk will be a joint project, so who knows? It's possible.
Yeah. I mean, I have a hard time believing. I think it was kind of not a slip, because obviously, she's working on a Marvel project, unless she's like a full geek on the inside of what's going on. She knows Kevin Feige is associated with Marvel. Mm-hmm. She's in an interview. She's trying not to give information away. She's like, I don't want to upset Kevin Feige by giving information away, kind of thing. I think that's more likely what it is than an actual...
That they actually have anything to do with each other.
Yeah. I think Kevin Feige is going to be very particular about what gets in the MCU from Sony.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right, Kirsten.
All right, Super Mario animated movie officially in the works for 2020 release.
2022.
Oh, 22. Okay.
Oh, sorry, 2022.
I'm like, what?
I thought I said 2022, but...
Yeah.
Coming next month. You guys haven't heard about it yet.
I'm sure it's going to be great. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess I would probably see it. Super Mario fan.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember going to see the live action in theaters. Super excited about it.
Only see it if it's got Donkey Kong in it.
It's got to have Donkey Kong.
I mean, they've got to have at least a reference to it, right?
Yeah. True.
I don't know. Wreck-It Ralph was really good. I feel like they could do fairly decent with it if they tried.
All right, guys. I got this next story that you guys don't have on yours. The DC Universe is no more. It's probably DC Universe. I mean, not the DC Universe, but DC Universe, the streaming service.
Yeah.
It's going to become DC Universe Infinite, where it'll focus on comics. The thing we were worried about them losing, the big thing about them closing down DC Universe was we love the comics, right? Mm-hmm. Having access. I know several nights I've gone down rabbit holes, clicking on references from comics. I'm like, especially from my standpoint, because I was a Marvel fan. I collected all the Marvel comics when I was a kid, and not so many DC outside of maybe Flash, and I read Doug's Batmans, but getting the chance to and Swamp Thing. I collect okay, Dr. Fate. All right, never mind. I collected a lot of comics back in the day, so but yeah. Being able to go through and back and read some of those stories, and then there's like, there's references from this book, and you click on a link and you go to that.
Yeah.
And then you realize, oh wow, it's 3 a.m. I need to go to bed. So, but yeah, it's all sticking around. It's going to be that's what it's going to be now. It's going to be the main focus is the comics library. So, out of all the digital comics, I know it's kind of a bad word for you if you're a collector. Digital comics, but for those of us who are not collecting and want to read the stories, digital is the way to go.
Yeah.
And the interface with that has been really great, so I'm excited to see it.
Cool deal. Wow, speaking of something that's coming out of nowhere, Akira 4K Remastered is coming to the U.S. for screenings on September 24th.
Yep.
Wow.
Where is it screening? In theaters or?
Yeah, select theaters.
Oh, well, okay, never mind.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, I want to risk COVID for a movie that came out in 1984.
I mean, to see it 4K remastered.
That's true.
Honestly,
4K remastered Akira. Man, do I want to see a 4K remastered Akira? Do I want that much detail on some of that stuff?
I would consider maybe going to the movie theaters, but I don't think I could do it.
Dude, I love me some Akira. Don't get me wrong. That's
with Fist of the North Star, maybe. No, I'm just even then.
Yeah, like
4K blood fountains.
Your face.
All right. South Park is returning for an hour-long pandemic special, September 30th.
Nice.
Get ready to be offended.
For sure.
How is South Park a thing in today's day and age? How's that even possible?
I know that they had quite a few episodes that were taken down of whatever services they're streaming off of. So I don't think that they are doing pretty well right now.
That's sad. I used to love South Park back in the day. You know how old South Park is?
90s? Early 90s, right?
Yeah, 90s. Yeah. I'm like, wow.
Like 92 is what pops out in my head, but I don't know.
Yeah. They're super old. I mean, they're not like, Methuselah Simpson old, but,
Oh, they're 97.
97, late
Yep.
90s. Yeah. All right. All right, guys. Man, that about does it for us, but I want to take a moment here to shout out the fact that we have some more videos up on the channel now after just having the podcast for quite a while. We're back to doing some reviews, some reactions. We got our Mandalorian review up on the channel. We got our first Ruby video of I want to say the year, but not really. It feels like it's been multiple years, but it's not. It's only been like 8 months. But yeah, we reacted. Me and Kirsten did because Doug was busy. He's got a life and stuff to do.
Yeah, I did watch it today. In case we talked about it. Yeah, it was pretty interesting.
Shane's still holding off. So Shane's still holding off because he wants to review it. He wants to react to it this tomorrow, in fact. So yeah, he's like trying to avoid stuff because everyone's talking about it. So yeah, if you're a Ruby fan, yeah, it gets you pumped up and excited. First Ruby in 8 months, and I'm super excited. And me and Kirsten, you can tell how excited we are because you can watch us. Watch it for the first time on the Grizzled Geek on youtube.com/The Grizzled Geek. So I want to take a moment here before we sign off here to thank our patrons, you guys who have stuck with us through. I know it's rough this time, giving people money when it's look outside of what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
And we really appreciate it. We do. It really want to thank you, all of you guys that have stuck with us. And for all the new listeners out there, if you want to check us out, check out our other videos or see what we look like. For all of you that are listening to the podcast, you can check us out, like I said, on youtube.com/The Grizzled Geek. Well, we have the reactions.
Keep on using those Amazon affiliate links. That's helping a ton as well.
Yeah, thank you for all you guys that are using the Amazon affiliate link. It's really helping us.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it because, it's the easiest way to help us out. You can actually do your shopping. We get a kickback.
You were going to do it anyways. Yeah.
If you want to buy our merch, we got T-shirts in the Teespring link down below. And, I lied. It wasn't the easiest way to support us. Easiest thing you could possibly do is to like this video right now, leave a comment down below, tell your friends about us. We're getting a few more. We're actually, after having that slow, no new subscribers, we're actually getting some new subscribers coming in. I think it has to do with the fact that we have more podcast listeners out there, especially you Deezer people. Apparently, a lot of people like Deezer because that's where they're listening to us. Apparently, it passed Spotify as our number one downloader. So
wow,
Spotify was number one, although or maybe Apple we can't really tell because it doesn't give us any information. But thank you wherever you're listening to us from. We really appreciate it. And if you want to do it again, we'll be back again next week, Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm not going to be able to say that for long. In the next month, right? Changes?
The next month, or I don't remember. I never remember until...
We don't know because we don't change.
Yeah.
Our time doesn't change. Just what time zone we're in changes. So it all changes around us. Welcome to Arizona. All right, guys. Thank you for listening. Anything you guys want to say before we sign off?
I think it was good. We got it.
Stay safe. Have a good weekend.
That's right. Take care, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.